All right. So The Great Gatsby, Charlotte's Web, The Lorax, and Huckleberry Finn. If you're like me, these were a staple in your elementary and junior high school reading. But these books also have something else in common. They've been banned at some point in history. Banning books in schools has been a hot topic of debate between teachers, administrators, and school board and parents. After reading a comprehensive list of banned books, as well as reasons, on the American Library Association's website, as well as reading part of Kristen Pical's book entitled Beyond Books, Defending Intellectual Freedom Throughout Your Library, and reading a transcript of a interview held by PBS.org with Judy Blume, a famous author, I feel confident enough to show you both sides of this argument, whether to ban books in school and whether to not ban books in school. So today I will be sharing with you the history behind banning books in America. Second, I will be explaining the arguments for banning books in schools. And third, I will be discussing the argument against banning books in schools. So let me first discuss a little bit of the history behind banning books in America. This has a long history actually, and some of it is based on content, which could be sexually explicit, or it could have offensive language or drug abuse references. One example of this is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and this is by Stephen Chbosky, and this has been banned in schools since 2003. There is sexually explicit content that involves a child without explicit details. There's also LGBTQ sexual content, and so that's been banned for those reasons. There's also Crank by Ellen Hopkins. This has been banned since 2010. There's drug abuse references in that, as well as sexually explicit content and offensive language. Well, the U.S. has a storied history of banning books in schools, and that actually begins in the 1600s. So in 1637, the New England Canon of Thomas Morton was banned in Massachusetts. It was banned for its harsh critique of Puritan views, as well as the power structures of that day, and this started a long history of banning books in America. The volume of books that are on the banned or challenged list has grown in the past few years. In 2022, there has been over 2,500 titles on that list, which is up significantly from 2021 by 40%. So I have first discussed the history of banning books, and next I will be discussing the argument that is for banning books in schools. So one of the examples of why people are for banning books is because they want to protect children. So they want to keep children from reading this sexually explicit content, as well as the offensive language, which could be racist or it could be harmful to others. So shielding them helps them maintain their childhood. Another reason for them to be for banning books is, and then, I forgot. Okay, anyway, so I talked about the argument for banning books, and next I will be discussing the argument against banning books. So an argument against banning books is actually because people want to defend their right to have this freedom of speech as far as reading and writing. So they don't want their rights to be infringed upon. Also, they don't want their voice not to be heard, because maybe their voice can touch a child in a way that that child won't necessarily get anywhere else, like at home, any of that support. And an example of this is during Judy Blume's interview, she actually talks about her book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And in this book, she talks about female puberty and the chest growing. And she actually stated in the interview that thousands of girls would write to confide in her after reading her book. And one of them actually, she said that, Dear Judy, I'm in 5th grade, and I am developing also, and it is embarrassing. So this is a prime example of a way that an author can touch a child through the words that they print. So they want to defend that. So first I talked about the history of banning books in American schools, as well as the argument for banning books in schools and the argument against banning books. So I hope that both sides of these arguments can give you sound judgment on whether or not you support banning of books or don't support the banning of books. Thank you.